everybody. Welcome to In the Air on CricTracker. My name is Niveda Prabhu. We are, of course, discussing everything to do with the England and India clash and what can everybody expect from today. Well, I know all of you have already started kind of making your predictions, but let's also get on our guests on the show to really find out what they're expecting. It was quite an exciting day yesterday, so let's continue talking further on that. And let me call on our first guest on the show, Rakesh Deva Reddy, who, of course, is a cricket coach as well as cricket analyst. Rakesh, welcome back. Missing the glasses, where's the fresh look? It seems very settled now. Looking at, of course, what is sorry, you were saying something?
No, I was a little busy and I was roaming here and there, so I couldn't sit in a proper space. But right now, I've done with my all work. I'm sitting idle and freely. So yeah.
And ready for the the kind of show to be put on. There's already a comment that's come in, before, of course, we get into the deeper aspect of it. Agar India 150 run ki lead bana leti hai, to England par pressure zarur hoga, is what Nihal Singh has said. Let me start off with that. Is that your opinion as well?
See, yes, of course, 150 will put India in a good position. But the thing is, how many overs or how many sessions England is going to bat is also going to become key. If India can bat the first session tomorrow as well, and if India has only lead of 150, I think that should be okay. But otherwise, India getting all out by the end of today's day and just putting 150 runs on the board, then that won't be enough total for India to make England put under pressure. So it all depends on how much the time you are going to play at the same time, because that is going to be very, very important. In Test cricket, you have to play the time. You have to play session by session. It is not just scoring runs. So it all depends how many overs India is going to bat. But simple thing, if India can bat along all the way till tomorrow's first session, obviously India is going to score runs, because the way how Pujara and Kohli is scoring, and then you have Rahane, Pant, and Ravindra Jadeja, the recognized batsmen for Indian batting lineup. So if India can bat till tomorrow's first session, yes, India will be in comfortable position.
Okay, so that, of course, is the way Rakesh is looking at it. Nihal, I hope that answers your analysis or your question. On that note, let me bring on Gaurav Tripathi, who's a content creator, and once again back in the studio. Gaurav, welcome back. Great to have you with us on the show. And what are you expecting from today's game?
I think it's going to be an exciting day of Test cricket. I mean, at stumps on day two, India were looking all in out. England's win was looking a mere formality. But the way Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara, and Rohit Sharma batted on day three, it was phenomenal. And I think it has also opened a glimmer of chances of India's victory in this Test match, which look completely unbelievable till stumps on day two. So I think anything can happen on this Test match. I think if India can bat till the morning session of the day 5, they are going to add 300 odd runs, which will give England a target of 150 or 160, 170. That's not going to be easy on this Headingley track, because we must not forget that in India in the first innings they got bundled out for 78 runs. So chasing anything above 100 or above 150, it's going to be daunting on this track, and anything can happen on day 4. But we must not forget that England are still in a commanding position. Any wrong move, a couple of wickets can put India on the back foot. So I think the first hour of day 4 is going to be very crucial.
Right, and I think people are already making predictions of a double 100 from Virat Kohli. We'll have to wait and watch for that excitement and not jinx it. On that note, let me bring on our third guest, Pratyay Tiwari, who's a content creator and joining us once again in the studios. Pratyay, you did manage to do a cameo for like 2 seconds and go back, so welcome back. And what are you expecting from today?
Well, yes, it's an important day, definitely. And I think it's very crucial for India to bat the entire day out. बिकॉज आज अगर वो इंग्लैंड को कहीं भी बल्लेबाजी करने का मौका देते हैं तो मेरे ख्याल से या तो रन्स नहीं होंगे बोर्ड पे उतने, या फिर आप ज़्यादा समय दे देंगे उनको चेस करने के लिए. सो आई थिंक इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर इंडिया टू बैट आउट एटलीस्ट द एंटायर डे 4, इफ नॉट द फर्स्ट सेशन ऑफ इवन डे 5, बट एटलीस्ट मिनिमम दैट दे हैव टू बैट इज डे 4. And I think what is also going to be crucial is that yes, yesterday was not entirely a day of bowlers. Only 4 wickets fell and India के सिर्फ 2 ही विकेट गिरे, लेकिन रन्स बहुत जल्दी नहीं आ पाए. नाउ व्हाट इंडिया नीड्स टू आल्सो कीप आई ऑन इज दैट जो रन्स का औसत था वो कल 2.6 2.7 के आसपास था. तो अगर आज 90 ओवर का खेल पूरा हो पाता है, वेदर एंड लाइट ऑफ कोर्स परमिटिंग, अगर 90 ओवर का खेल हो पाता है और उसमें वो 3 सवा 3 रन की औसत से कहीं रन बनाते हैं, तो हम देख रहे हैं कुछ 270 या 280 रन। और अभी भी ये ट्रैक इतना बुरा नहीं है कि हम यहाँ पे चौथे दिन पे ये उम्मीद नहीं कर सके दैट these many runs cannot be scored. So what I think that India needs to up their run rate at least by 1.1 runs at least, so that they can have those they can eye that 300 run mark, because once that they cross it, then they will be looking to set some sort of a target that England will find tough to chase on day 5. So I think run rate is one very important thing, and of course the first session, I think this day 4's first session is going to actually kind of give us where this match is heading towards. If India manages to, because see now 80 overs have been done, so right from moment one I'm expecting Joe Root to take the new ball, because there is no reason why he would not. और शायद इसी वजह से 80 ओवर तक का खेल उन्होंने कल पूरा करवाया, ताकि वो सुबह आते साथ नई गेंद ले सकें, क्योंकि जो बैड लाइट थी वो 68-69 ओवर के आसपास आ गई थी। अगर वो वहीं पे खेल रुकवा देते तो आज पुरानी गेंद से उन्हें कहीं 11-12 ओवर्स करने पड़ जाते। वो नहीं करने के लिए उन्होंने खुद को और मोइन अली को अटैक में लिया और 11-12 ओवर्स उन्होंने वहां पे निकाले, ताकि आज आते साथ वो नई बॉल ले सकें। सो आई थिंक फर्स्ट सेशन इज एक्सट्रीमली क्रूशियल। अगर इसमें एक भी विकेट भारत नहीं गंवाता है तो बहुत सारी चीजें आसान हो जाएंगी, क्योंकि आगे के जो 2 सेशंस हैं उनमें बल्लेबाजी करना आसान होगा बनस्बत पहले सेशन में। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है जो भारत को खास तौर पर ख्याल रखना होगा, कि वो विकेट पहले सेशन में बिल्कुल भी ना गंवाएं। 2 सेट बैट्समैन हैं और दोनों माइलस्टोन्स की तरफ भी हैं, तो यही हम उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि वो पूरा करेंगे उसको।
राइट, सो आई थिंक जैसे कि प्रत्यय ने वो व्यू पॉइंट दिया है और रादर हिज एनालिसिस, क्या आप उनके साथ एग्री करते हैं, हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में बताइए। ऑल्सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ कोर्स द न्यू बॉल कमिंग इन, देन ऑफ कोर्स एंडरसन ऑल्सो प्रॉब्ली कमिंग बैक टू क्रिएट दैट स्पेल दैट इज नॉट मैनेज टू डू येट। विल दैट चेंज? आपको क्या लगता है, प्लीज बताइए इन द कमेंट सेक्शन। देयर आर मिक्स्ड ओपिनियंस, अ लॉट ऑफ देम आर सेइंग, इवन इफ आई थिंक गौरव डिड टॉक अबाउट द I think we were talking about the 150, like even Rakesh was talking about that, and the comment coming is that Root single-handedly will be able to chase this down. We're not surprised if that is going to be happening. But if you could take a quick look at the weather forecast, and Rakesh, you on this to kind of see like what your opinion is as to how it would impact today's game or other conditions.
See, in terms of weather, I think it shouldn't be a problem. If I don't think there will be any rain. It's just that India have to manage to play as long as possible, like how they did on day 3. That's the only best thing they can do. But one thing I would like to add here, this is test match, so I think yes, of course, run rate matters. But looking at the situation where India is in, I don't think run rate is an issue, because right now, before going for a victory, the first thing India has to manage to do is make sure they are not going to lose the test match. So in this situation, if India is going to look for any run rate sort of thing, they're definitely going to lose the wickets. Yesterday, I said a comment saying that they should not look for survival, and at the same time, they should not be too aggressive as well. Just play the ball. Just play one ball at a time, one session at a time, one day at a time. So that is what strategy India will definitely look into today's session. Because
so basically, I think like the comments coming in that they have to be playing the full day. Is that the idea going into this?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely, because when you're playing the whole day, obviously runs are going to come, because India is not going to just lock the balls all the way like how we saw Hanuma Vihari did in one of the test matches when India played against Australia. That was a different situation. That was completely different. But this is going to be different, because India have wickets in their hand and they have to save the test match, because they are already leading the series with 1-0. So the scenario is different. And you have to just play the day. That's it.
Okay. Now, there's a comment coming in from Abhay Kulkarni about India winning the match in the repeat history of Kolkata. I think my colleague will be very happy, because he kept talking about the Eden Gardens putting massive pressure come on that. In terms of course, you also spoken initially that 600 runs, and that was your kind of predictions. But going into this, in terms of England's bowling, with the new ball coming in, where do you think it could trouble Pujara and Kohli, if it may? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think whatever we are talking is keeping in mind the fact that India has actually played really well on day 3. What we cannot rule out entirely is that, yes, a couple of wickets can fall easily. I mean, in the morning session, it's not entirely impossible for England to strike twice. And maybe, one ball would come and suddenly that takes the wicket. And you cannot do, because this has happened in this series even. There have been some unplayable deliveries which have been wicket-taking ones, and they've taken your wicket. And they have got the arsenal. I mean, even Craig Overton, the way he bowled in the first innings, Jimmy Anderson, of course, is a master, and there is no doubt about his caliber. So it's not entirely impossible for England to strike. And suddenly, if you lose 1 or 2 wickets in the first session, the entire landscape of the game is going to change dramatically. Because right now we are talking about batting out the entire day, trying to set a target for England. All of this is because we have two set batsmen on the crease, which is making us
Right.
think that okay, if they can continue, if they can go on to play the way they did on day three, then this might happen. But we have to also keep in mind that 1 or 2 wickets will entirely change the complexion of this game. So I think that yes, a few things did not go England's way with the ball yesterday. That was down to both, but not exactly conditions, because yes, conditions were helpful on day two. The way the sun was out when England was batting, things were very, very good for batting. But on day three, a lot of credit to the way Pujara and Kohli batted, and even Rohit Sharma for whatever while he lasted. He was very, very disciplined, which is why England did not manage to strike, because there was assistance from the pitch in the air as well, but then they were not able to strike. So I think that they would be making to look amends to those extents. And the only
Yeah.
reason I agreeing with the point that Rakesh said, that if India starts to kind of think about going for the win or all of that, yes, we know that aggressive captaincy is something that Virat Kohli is known to do. But I think that if he starts to think too far ahead, maybe that can backfire as well. But the point about run rate, the only reason I'm saying is that if 90 overs of play is possible today, and the run rate at which India continued played yesterday, that is 2.7, you're not looking at more than 200 runs then. And India is already lagging behind by 139. So that means that if, presuming that India bats the entire day at the same run rate as they did on day three, you are
Yeah.
adding what, 200 runs, and then you are only leading by 60. Then I think that this match is not going to get go to a result, because then I think, I mean, 60 runs of lead by end of day four. Even if you bat the entire day one session, then how much are you going to be able to add to give them a chance? So I think that today's run rate is actually going to be a bit decisive in terms of what the result would be. And of course, there's a big presumption that England is not going to able to take those wickets, because if they do, then as I said, it's going to quickly change, and before you even realize, things will be out of India's hands. So yes, a lot to look forward to on day four.
And Gaurav, coming to you on that, with the current conditions of the pitch, the weather, there are all these other aspects that we're looking at. Of course, you always talk about the fact that they shouldn't be falling like a pack of cards. Now, if that was to happen, in the morning session, who are you placing your bets on to kind of up the ante from there? Are you placing it on Jadeja, Pant? Who do you think will manage to continue that show from there, if you were to analyze it or predict it?
See, Rishabh Pant has done it in the past, and especially he has some sort of obsession with the third innings or the fourth innings. I mean, I remember the Australia Test series, this series this year as well, and the 2018-19 as well. He has a knack of playing good innings in the latter half of the game. I remember the 2018 series of England. He got 100 in the fourth inning of the Test match. So I think he has done it in the past, and there's no reason why he can't do it today. So I think he's going to possess a massive threat on England, because if he scores a quick fire 70 or 80 run knock, I think India will be ahead on this contest, because as I said earlier, chasing more than 150 or 160 is going to be tough on this track. But thinking all this will be, as Pradip said, that it will be too much for India as of now, because their first target should be uh, ge- uh, getting the scores level. They need to score that 150 runs with maximum wickets being in hand. They need to score at least 300 from now if they are going to think for a win, and that's not going to be easy. It's a possibility, but it's not going to be easy, because the likes of James Anderson, Craig Overton, Oli Robinson, they are good users of the new ball, and the first hour of the day is going to be very crucial. So I think it will be very interesting if James Anderson takes 2 or 3 wickets in the first hour. Then England will be on the roll. But if Rishabh Pant is going to play like he did in the past, then I think England camp will be very, very tense.
Right, and I think another player back then to watch out for if Anderson is going to, of course, get Kohli. But before we wrap up, Rakesh, coming to you to kind of summarize, we've looked at all the aspects of it. But anything that you would like to add that we missed out on in terms of what you think England's strategy might be going into this?
So I think Joe Root did it intentionally by getting the spinners, and at the same time, the light was also not in favor of them, so that they can take the new ball. The simple strategy: take a new ball, get Anderson in, take Kohli's wicket, then just make sure India's batting gets collapsed. So this is going to be England's strategy, because they they're already having 139 runs ahead. So that is
Right.
enough. If that is enough for England to make sure that India is going to collapse. But let's see how India is going to manage it. This is going to be very, very crucial. First 20 overs, I would say. If England can take a wicket or two in the first half an hour, then yes, England will be on the top.
Upper hand, right? And I think Abdul is pretty much echoing pretty much the same thing that you said, that the first 1 hour will be very crucial, and if wickets in hand, last two sessions good for scoring fast. So basically, of course, everyone's of the same opinion that if everybody has their expectations that that half century and that century will of course come to the both of them, and rightly so. But in terms of course, before we wrap up, a lot of conversation about Pujara. So Prati, I'll come to you on that. Pujara cementing his place through this knock. How would you view that? I mean, there's already pressure for him. There's criticism on the other hand. How are you looking at that going into this?
See, he has shown great application in this game. This is something that no one can deny because I think that yes, he was under pressure. और जब runs नहीं आते हैं तो आप कितने भी टेस्ट मैचेस खेले हुए हो, it kind of starts to bother your mind because again and again there were talks of how they are playing waiting outside on the benches and how they can be included in, and should India actually even continue with the duo of Pujara and Rahane. So I think that in this aspect, this innings is going to be extremely crucial. But also, what I feel is that how much is this going to contribute into the context of the game? Because if India manages to win this game somehow, and that will of course happen if Pujara continues to play because he's 91 odd, and this has happened with him. I mean, he's someone who has the knack of scoring those big hundreds. So he's not someone who is going to, if he gets on to 100, he is someone who is known to convert them into big hundreds as well. So if he can maybe go on to convert this into something more substantial, because the amount of rut that he has had, it has been really long. The last he scored a century was back in 2019 against Australia, and since then it has been like, I mean, अब वो उनको पूरी भरपाई एक तरीके से करनी होगी क्योंकि इतने लंबे समय से रन्स नहीं बनाया कि शायद अब एक शतक अकेला नहीं काम करेगा. Probably he would want to score a double or maybe something a massive, like something 170, 180, that kind of a knock, which will not only do good to his confidence but also will serve India's purpose, because I think that he holds the key. Even before on day two, we were talking about that he's someone who can bat out time. He's someone who can bat 400, 500 balls without losing out in patience. So I think, yes, this is very crucial. But I still feel that after this kind of knock, I mean, if he would have failed in this game, probably the case of him being dropped out of the team would have taken at least one step certainly ahead. Through this knock, what Pujara has done is, regardless of the result, at least he's not being dropped in this series now. For this series, he has kind of secured his place in the next couple of test matches, unless there is some injury or something of that sort. I don't see Pujara being dropped because after a century, you are definitely not going to drop a player. And fingers crossed if he gets on to that century. But I think that yes, he has actually made his case, and this now also increases a bit of pressure on Ajinkya Rahane because he has also been out of runs, and now Pujara, the only his senior partner who was not amongst runs, now he has gotten amongst those. So now it becomes all the more important for Rahane because now the entire spotlight is just going to be on Rahane. So far it was on three of the people, Pujara, Kohli, and Rahane. Now suddenly Rahane would realize that it's only me who has not got the run. So he's still to come. He is still to come to bat. And I think that yes, India needs to bat long. So I'm expecting something good from Rahane as well today.
Right. And if Professor Saab has declared that Rahane should perform, then, Mr. Rahane, I think you will have to be here stepping that up. But of course, that is on a lighter note. But on a serious note, of course, in terms of like how you've spoken about Pujara, there's like, Rakesh has, of course, multiple times spoken about this, which we discussed earlier as well. It is that mental aspect of the game that really, brings them back from all that criticism. And Rahane did speak about criticism not getting to him. But like you said, there is expectations from him. But before we wrap up, Abhay has said that Bumrah and Shami are waiting for another 50. Well, we don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll be more than happy if they're going to be putting up that show as well. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for joining us, all our experts also for giving their fabulous analysis. But do not forget to join us in the post-match analysis. We will join you once again only on In the Air on CricTracker.